Welcome back, guys. So I know it's been a while since we've done a video, but you know, as I've said before, life happens, and when you're a devoted father, husband, and devoted to your job, that takes precedent. So here I am trying to get another video out, and I've had a lot of you who I do talk to outside of YouTube that I've met through YouTube and other places, and we've thrown around the idea of camping and this and that, and how-tos and DIYs, things like that. We've gotten on a subject a few times about chuck boxes and things alike, and I've shared my chuck box with a few of you, which is right here behind me, that I will be showing you here in just a minute. This is my own design. I scoured YouTube just like anybody else who builds a chuck box. I've gone through Google, I've gone through Safari, I've gone through all the different ways of trying to find a chuck box that would suit me and my needs. And ultimately, wow, so tongue twisted today. Ultimately, I decided that I was going to build my own version of my own chuck box. So it's much like anybody else's design. It's kind of based off of the Coleman stove. So I put my Coleman stove in, started doing measurements, and just built it from there. So there is only two plans ever made for the chuck box. My plan, which is this one, and CJ, you're watching, I measured it all out and gave you the plans because I lost my blueprint someplace, because I built this, gosh, probably 5 years ago, and we moved 2 years ago, and I just can't locate those. So I'm going to have a tape measure out with me when I'm going over the chuck box, its contents, and I'll give you guys the dimensions in case you like my design and you want to build it yourself. There is no right way or wrong way to build one. This is just my version, and after I do this video, I'm planning to do my, let's just leave that a secret for now. I built something else that's really cool that I've shown CJ, and that is probably my favorite thing I've ever built, and I'm really excited to get that for you guys. So let's get on to today's video, which is the chuck box. I'm going to reset up where I'm going to be. I'm not really going to be in frame too much. I'm going to just be showing the chuck box and its contents and giving you guys measurements. And I'll probably say those measurements a couple of times in case you're wanting to build this exact one or something of similar size. And I will tell you that I did not build mine to be light, because I mean, I'm not carrying this thing around. It's going to be hauled to where I'm going to camp, taken out, put in its place, and that's just where it's going to be. So this is pretty heavy, pretty stout, but let's get to the box itself. Okay guys, so first off, I went with brass hardware, and as you can see, I burnt the wood because I really like that burnt look. I'll bring in, just for something really neat that I've not shown anybody, I do woodworking on the side, and mine is called All America Woodworks, and then I sign at the bottom by Brad. So by Brad is always handwritten each and every time, so you get a little bit personal from me. So anyway, the rough dimensions of this box is 30 inches wide. Sorry, tape measure's not wanting to cooperate. 30 inches wide by 16 inches high. So that means, if you notice there's a split here, there's two doors. That means each door is 15 inches a piece. Now these doors are about 4 inches thick, and I'll show you why. Let's just simple brass blocks, clasps, however you want to refer to them. And these just swing open. I forgot to show you here on the sides there's a wing. Let me bring you over. There's a wing here that lifts up. So when the doors open up, they rest underneath here. I will show you that in just a second. Reposition again. So the door swings open, and when it swings open, the wings rest on top. So it gives you more of a workspace. Let me get the other one over there open, and we'll keep going. So just like the one over there, wing comes up, door opens, and it rests right there. So this is starting from this side over here. Sorry, I'm doing this in my garage, so there's a tarp just to cover up the garage door. Who wants to see a garage door? So on this side, we'll get to these last. Actually, I'll put these on top. And I'll just show you. Over here, we have trash bags. You have to have trash bags when you're camping because it's carry in, carry out. I put on a magnet strip back here to hold all of my knives, spatulas, forks, things of that nature. Dish soap. And we put this little thin board here just to keep things from falling out. And just to give you guys some sizes, this board up here is 3/4 inch. So 3/4 inch pine, 3/4 inch 1x4 door. That's how I built those, just to make them a little more sturdy, or a little more robust. And you could probably see right here, there's a piano hinge. That's what's holding the door onto the box itself. So moving on to the middle. Let's move some things out of the way. And we'll measure the rough openings here. So, like I said, you build it around your Coleman stove, more than likely. And the rough opening for that space is a hair over 21 inches. It's about 21 and 2/16, because I wanted enough room for this to slide in and slide out. And that's just what works. This next one, so we're going to do measurements, then we'll go over contents. This next shelf above is 14 and 2/16. The height of the propane stove is right at 4 inches. The one above it is right at 5 3/4 inches. The one above that is 4 7/8 by 14 2/16. The spacing in between is 3/8 inch plywood. 3/8 inch plywood. Because I want it to be heavy, but not too heavy. So the next opening here, which would be for just large items in general, we have 7 7/8 wide by 10 7/8 tall. Now all of these are 13 inches deep from front to back. Moving over, we'll hit the bottom up here, which I made specifically for 2 propane tanks that I keep this handle on so I can easily pull it in and out. That is all that's meant for. That spot is 7 7/8 by 4 2/16. I know a lot of these measurements aren't, you know, perfect right on the money. But like I said, I built this as I was going. Next shelf up, again, 6, what did we say this was? 6 3/4, sorry. 6 3/4, 6 3/4, so you know it's square. This one, tall, is 3 1/4, and then 3 1/2. Moving over to the last door, which is exactly the same as the other one. The only difference is I have hooks in here, and if you can see this little burn thing here, it's a little mountain scene that I created that I burnt and stuck on the inside there just to give it something different, something cool. And I stuck a bunch of hooks on it to hold spatulas and whatnot. Aluminum foil down here in the bottom. Our brush for washing, sponge. I stuck in some of these bungee cords to keep things from rattling around. And then these 2 holes are for the knobs. So when it closes, if this is a little bit too far forward, it'll still close because these knobs will fit into these holes over here. So let's get into the contents. We'll just kind of do a gear dump, and then we'll go over those 2 things I laid up there on top. So let's move the tape measure out of the way. Let's start at the bottom. The most important reason as to why we have a chuck box, the stove, which nests nicely here on top. I'll bring you up to see that. And then we have the cutting board, which gives us different types of conversions. So when we're making things while camping, we've got a conversion chart there, temperatures on meat and all that. So that's all that's in the bottom, plus I keep the stove. Yes, I'm a dude, and usually dudes don't carry manuals, but I keep mine to troubleshoot if I have any issues. So that's all that goes in the bottom. Of course, over here next to the we have our propane, which would sit right over here on the side, once hooked up over here on the side, just like most Coleman stoves. I'll get you more centered here. So moving up, I have aluminum plates. These are by Miro. I bought these, I think, off of Craigslist. At one point I got 8 of them for like $5, $10, something like that. So these are older, but these are awesome. They do hold heat, so be sure to use a hot pad if you ever decide to use anything like this. We'll just slide those down there for now. We'll just keep moving on. So I have inside here, nothing for a minute, but we have our Lodge cast iron pan. This is the 8, but we have larger, we have Dutch ovens, we have everything. In the back there is some fire starters in that box back there, and that little handle that you see there, that is, I'll show you just a second. This is called a Diablo, so you could put, you know, whatever you want in there, close it up, put over your fire. I've maybe used it once, but it's there in case I ever want to. So what was inside was a pan with a fold down handle, and then to go with those plates, I have these deeper plates, which can also kind of double as a bowl. So I have those, rest nicely inside here. This rests nicely in here, and that's what goes in that section there, and then the plates. So moving up to the next shelf, I have 2 coffee cups, Dad Camp. I believe my girls got me that. I have this one, Life Begins After Coffee, for my wife, which they're metal, so yes, they do hold heat. When we are at camp, I have one of these water pumps that sits on top of your 5-gallon water jug, so we don't have to always tote water. So we take this with us just to always have water. We have a measuring cup in here that's got, it's got a weird angle thing here. I don't know if you can see that, but that gives you all of your measurements inside. Plus you have a couple here on the side to go off of. We have paper towel, self-explanatory, paper towel. We get the small roll because it fits in here better. And then we have our saucepan. A lot of this stuff probably came from a thrift store at one point, but it works, it serves its purpose. We've gone camping many times with all of this. How quick and fast this goes back in. Moving over, we have coffee. That's all this section is for, plus spices. So I have my Pathfinder Woodsman's Wake Up Call. This is the dark roast. I got this with the light roast and the French press here. So might as well get that out. So it's a French press, and it's got the butterfly wing handles on it. And you can take the French press part out of it and just make it a bush pot that does have your graduations on the inside. And then we have the percolator, the all-important coffee percolator. So in the spice kit, I may have shown this before, but I have my own little spice kit that I made here out of some cheap leather that I just wrap up with some braided jute twine, and it has my little spice kit in it. However, I have something to show you that's going to replace this. So I got condiments in there, ketchup, mustard, hot sauces. I carry around a bandana, you know, in case you got to grab something hot. So that all is what rides in there. Moving over. So instead of building drawers to slide in here, I went and bought these, I think probably from the Dollar Tree. But each one of them holds, you know, its own thing. This one's got the light, you know, we've all seen a light. It's got, you know, white light, a yellow light, red light, and then kind of like an SOS. So that's what I keep just in this one basket. Further back, I keep pizza cutter, you know, for that all-important pizza that you want to make for camping. And I keep a grinding pedestal, I believe is what these are called, but this one's, I think it's acacia wood. That's what this one was made out of. I'm probably chopping up the name of it, but, you know, it is what it is. So that's what I keep in this one. And like I said, these are, you know, it's subject to change. It doesn't have to be exactly what I've got. You know, I don't keep all this stuff in here all the time. I don't even take the chuck box every time we go camping. A lot of times we'll just take out of this and go camping. We have totes that we just throw this stuff in. So in this one, we have, you know, all of your marshmallow roasting forks, another knife set underneath. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little gray bag in there. I just keep another knife set in there. Now, redundancy. This here would be a find from IKEA, coming as nice little carrying bags, but each one of them has a spoon, knife, and fork from IKEA. Of all places, IKEA. So men, don't fight your wife if she wants to take you to IKEA. You can find some really cool stuff. Underneath those, I got a set of 4 because we're a family of 4. My other set's missing because I can't find the fork. So I've got, you know, a basting brush and a scraper, you know, for all that baking we do while we're camping. And then in the bottom, this is where we keep lighters. Let me get this turned around for you. A couple of lighters. You've seen a lighter. Small scrub brush. Small pair of scissors. Small cutting board on top of the big one. And then a small little cute strainer. I mean, we can't strain spaghetti with this, but we could strain something. So that's what we keep in there. And then, moving on over to the last little door, you've already seen everything we keep in there. But, once again, there it is. There's the 2 holes. You know, there's that. So let's slide this few things back in here. We'll go over some measurements again. And there you go. That's it. That's overall length for the whole thing. Comes in at 60.5 inches long, so just a hair over 5 feet. The whole thing from top to bottom, including the legs. I didn't include the legs. I've got some support underneath here. Comes up to about 16.5 inches. If you take that away, just a hair over 16. The box itself, from hinge to hinge, was right at 30. And deep, 13.5. But you include the doors, which are 4 inches, 17.5. So let me get this one side closed up here. So, like I said, this is my own design, my own concept. Obviously, it's not my exact concept because, you know, there's a million of them out there. This probably is pretty close to something that already exists, but this was with my own thoughts and my own creativity. And as you can see, you know, I did the burnt look to it, which I really enjoy. I put my couple of stamps on it with my woodworking logo. Again, that's All America Woodworks by Brad, hand signed each time. So if you want something like this built, I could even build it for you. CJ, I sent you those dimensions and I'm looking forward to seeing yours. And I've got more builds. Like I said, I've got something else that I built that I really enjoyed building and really took my time. It's much smaller, but it took me twice as long as it took me to build this, and this I made up on the fly. The other one, more or less on the fly, but I had a general idea more so than I did with this one. And that video is to come very soon. And I hope you like this one. Leave any comments down below, what you liked, what you didn't like, what you'd like to see more of. I'm sorry it was in my garage, but you know, it's windy outside and we've hit harvest season, so there's a lot of tractors and combines and semi trucks just driving all around me. So I want it to be as quiet as possible and let you guys hear my ramblings and share my chuck box with you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I have lots more to come. Like I said, leave any comments down below on what you like, what you didn't like, and I guess until next time I see you, get out there.